if you could relive those moments with us, because I think for a lot of people, that is a junction in their life when all sorts of things start to cross their mind, right? That particular time that you found out that you of your diagnosis, why did you go and check yourself in the first place? So, did you have any idea that you had any cancer in your family? Why did you?
No, actually, we don't have a history of cancer. My family don't have a history of cancer. Um, Here's what I have, and I know a lot of women on the live. We have a lot of women on this live. I'm sure we have a lot of women on this live.
Yeah, you do. We do.
Okay, Junior, from a man's perspective, we're speaking open and frank here. This is Big People Program. We're speaking
Right.
open and frank here.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know all breasts don't feel the same.
Right. Well.
Okay.
Okay.
Some of us have
Mhm.
fibrocystic breasts. In other words, it's dense. There are some people, if you touch their breasts, it will practically squish.
Right.
And there are some of us, when you touch our breasts, it gets to like hair, and it's very firm. It's very fibrous. It's very muscular. So you might see some people and be like, "Where she 35, 40, and she could still walk around without wearing bra."
Mm-hmm.
Fibrocystic. These people, we have dense breasts in that it's nice and cute when you're young,
Right.
but when you get older and it's time to do mammogram and these things, when it's time for you to get your regular woman checkout, now these become worrisome, they become problematic, right? So I have always known that I had fibrocystic breasts, and that there's always a lump somewhere. There is
Mhm.
always, because the makeup is different. So I remember the first time I discovered a lump in my breast, I went to trial and echoes. That's the first time I heard the term fibrocystic breast. And when I did she didn't do a mammogram. She did just a regular what'd you call it again? The ultrasound. She did a
Right.
regular ultrasound.
Okay.
So when I did that, at that point I realized I was different. I had different breasts from normal people. I don't know if we normal or the others normal, but
Right.
it was different in that we tended to have more lumps, and we needed to check as we get older. We needed to check more regularly
Right.
and more thoroughly,
Yes.
because another person would be able to pass their hand from hair to hair and that's it. But we have to go deeper. We have to,
Right. You have to.
our
Okay.
search has
Mhm.
to be more thorough. And I'm talking about your personal search on a daily basis.
Mhm.
I'm not even talking about when you go to your doctor. I'm just talking about your personal search. You go into the bathroom and you're soaping yourself and you're checking yourself. Normal search. You do it after your menstrual cycle, because again, we tend to get more lumps when our menstrual cycle comes around.
Okay.
Right? So everything is more sensitive, everything is more swollen, everything is more tender because we are constructed different.
Mhm.
So that was back way in Grenada when I discovered that I had fibrocystic breast. So
Okay.
I've always read up on it. I've always checking. And then what happened? During COVID,
Mhm.
remember when I left New York and was hiding out in Connecticut?
Right. Well, that who was doing correspondence for me from Connecticut. I remember that.
Right. So my cousin Kida and I, we were hanging out. We're in Connecticut. This is new to us. Brandon goes to school he logs in from 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:20 in the morning. He's doing school online. So we're free to do whatever we want.
Mhm.
So we're cooking, we're baking, we're doing all kinds of stuff. We're hanging out until 2 o'clock in the morning, drinking, doing all kinds of stuff. And then it occurred to me that I keep telling Makeda, I keep telling my cousin, Keda, I feel so old. I feel like I am 60, 70 years old.
Uh-huh.
Like I would wake up in the morning and as soon as you do, like you make breakfast or you do some little chore, all you keep thinking, oh boy, I could go and take a 2-hour nap.
Mm.
You're tired. I was drained. I was tired. Then me and Brandon always doing something. I couldn't be riding my bicycle outside with Brandon. He's on the street riding his bicycle. I sit on the step watching him because my body is fatigued. I'm drained. And I did not know what was happening with me. But I keep telling my cousins, hey, all you're feeling old. And they're joking. They kicks in. Yo, they kicks in and telling me, well, you're probably COVID probably making us that probably one of the side effects of COVID in the air is that we getting old fast.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
old talk now. And I remember checking as after another menstrual cycle, I'm checking again. And then I noticed a little lump on the bottom below the nipple, more towards my chest area on the right side on my right breast.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, okay. As per normal, well, at that time though, COVID is in full effect. Doctors are not seeing you. So
Yes.
everything is in lockdown. So I said, okay, let me just see what happens here. As with other lumps I've discovered before, let me see if this will go away with the next menstrual cycle. But Junior, there's no reason I should have paid attention to that lump. And I'm saying that to say it wasn't painful. It wasn't uncomfortable. There was no reason why it should have bothered me.
Right.
But I guess because of how I was feeling generally,
Uh-huh.
I kind of suspected something was wrong. Right? I kind of suspected that something, I didn't know what it was. So, yo, be wary of Google. Google will drive you mad.
Oh my God. I'm sure it kind of sent you crazy.
Junior, I started to Google side effects of all kinds of stuff. I started to search up autoimmune diseases. I started to, because you're home, you can't get to a doctor. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with me. And while all of this is going on, I'm telling my cousin, I don't know, we don't have cancer in our family, but I know a couple of our relatives that may have that. I know one of our cousins that was diagnosed with what's it called again? They usually
Is that form of
they usually represent it with the purple ribbon.
Alzheimer's?
Lupus. No. I said I know one of our cousins that was diagnosed with lupus. So because I'm just sending myself mad in the midst of all this.
Right.
So when I called the doctor, I couldn't get the doctor. I left Connecticut and I came back to Brooklyn. And I drove to the doctor's office and I said to them, listen, I don't really want to see you. I have a lump in my breast and it feels different from every other lump I've ever felt in my breast. Because I know lumpy breast, my breast lumpy.
Right.
So I know you're booked until September, as they told me, you're booked until September. I said, I don't really want to see you. What I need is a referral to go get a mammogram done. She's like, okay. She said, come in. So she took me into her office. I met everybody that I met there. She's like, come on in. I'm like, okay. And I went into the office and she did just the regular check. She checked my my breathing from the back. She checked my breathing from wherever else. And she felt it. She said, it doesn't feel suspicious. She said, I've touched suspicious, stuff that turned out to be bad, and this doesn't feel like bad.
Right.
She said, but if it will make you feel better, I will give you. I said, that's all I want. All I want is a referral to go get a mammogram done. And I went and I got the mammogram at Lenox Hill Radiology, which is I guess the facility that they do their tests in collaboration with. I went to Lenox Hill Radiology. I did the mammogram. The mammogram also, because she felt that there was something there, it also came with a biopsy. So I did the thing with a biopsy. And I left, and the results were available a couple of days later.
And that time frame, like what was going through your mind when you're sitting there and you're waiting for that?
Junior, I don't think everything already. I
You
don't
already
think
had it in your mind. You already felt it out. That's where it was going to end up.
I don't know, I don't know what I was hoping that it wasn't, but
Yeah.
I had the weirdest feeling that was not a normal lump. That was not it. It wasn't a little seed. I've felt seeds, like a little seed in my breast. But it felt like a little bit of jello.